Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So I wanted to just show you really quick some things that I got from an Etsy shop called Lisa's Lace Boutique. So Lisa actually purchased some things from my shop and we got to talking and I found out that she had a shop as well. So of course I had to go check it out. And when I went there, I instantly fell in love with everything she sells. So she makes these tags that have like antique lace and antique buttons and things like that on them, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. I had a hard time narrowing down what I wanted to get from her, but I ended up purchasing these. These are like little doilies that she has hand sewn lace and beads on top of, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm probably going to hoard most of these, but I am going to try to use some of these today in this spread. That's just some wrapping paper that I thought was really pretty that she packaged the order in. And then these are some of her antique lace tags. It looks like she coffee dyed the tags and then put antique lace over them and then like hand stitched buttons and beads on top of them. They're just absolutely beautiful. And she spent so much time obviously on these. So yeah, I'm going to attempt not to hoard them, but I adore them so much. So definitely go check her out. I'm going to leave her Etsy shop information in the description box below so that you can easily find her. And also she is just a fabulous person, so you won't be disappointed with anything that you buy from her. This is her business card, and even her business card is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, definitely go check her out. So I pulled these two pieces out, and I'm going to try to incorporate at least one of them into the journal spread today. So I'm coming into this with a little bit of an idea about what I want to do. I have a lot of bits and pieces from the month that I want to put into a journal spread, but they're just so small and there's so many of them that I figured it would be a good idea to make kind of like a folio type of deal, just so that I can kind of put everything into one spread, because I don't really have anything that will build an entire page spread, if you know what I mean. So what I did was I took these two pieces of junk mail, and they were pretty large flyers, and they have like a matte finish, which is what I really liked about them. Most flyers that I get in the mail are glossy, and it's difficult to glue anything to them and have to use double-sided tape the whole time, but these were matte, so that's why I chose these particular pieces of junk mail. And what I did was I folded them in half, and then I used double-sided tape to stick the back of one to the front of the other, so that it did like a really big flip out type of deal. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to find some papers that I can use to cover up all of the sides of my folio. So I chose this paper. This is one of the papers from one of my coffee dyed paper packs. And I'm just tearing that down to size, and I'm going to glue that right on the front. And then this is some sort of piece of vintage packaging. I have no idea what it is, but I had it in my stash just because I love the color of it. It's probably one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to use it somehow. And so I'm just pulling out pieces that I know I want to try to use. I have this little lace paper die cut thing, and obviously I have the doily tag that Lisa made that I want to try to incorporate. And I also had this little scrap of fabric, so I thought that maybe I would make it into like a little cluster on the top of the folio. So it does take me a minute to try to figure out which papers I actually want to use. I used this paper. This is a printable. Not sure where I got it from. Maybe it was a Graphics Fairy printable. I'm not really sure. It looks like William Morris, so it's possible that it was some sort of William Morris print. I'm not sure. But I printed that off a while back, and I decided to go ahead and use it here. It's not quite tall enough to fit the junk mail perfectly, so I'm just using a little bit of washi tape on the top and bottom just to cover up the white space. And then on the inside of the folio, I decided to use a paper from this book called For the Love of Paper. And I really love these books. It's similar to the Flow books. They have like tons of different things that you can cut out, and stickers and papers and all kinds of stuff in there. It's a relatively new book. So I haven't actually used it before, but I am super excited to get into it because it's all florals, and if you know anything about me, you know that I'm obsessed with florals. So I chose this picture here. It looks kind of like a watercolor flower, and it has that purple color like the doily tag. So I thought that it would work well for this spread. So I'm just going to glue that to one side of the inside of the folio. And then I'm just using a little bit of washi tape down the center of the folio just to make sure that that paper doesn't come up. And on the opposite side, I'm going to use this book page pocket that I made a long time ago. It just fit perfectly, so I felt like it belonged there. So I'm just gluing that straight down to the page as well, and it has several pockets that I can put journaling cards or whatever in. So that kind of just clears up where I'm going to do my journaling at the end. So I also had this piece of junk mail. This is actually an envelope from a bill. And I just loved the color, so I decided to hold on to it. And I'm actually going to use some washi tape to attach that to the very front of the folio. So it'll be kind of like a half page on top of the several full pages behind it. So I'm just kind of working out how I was going to get that green paper on there too, because I really like the green paper. I ended up pulling up that watercolor image just a little bit just so that I could stick the green paper down, and I'll do something with that in a moment. I thought that maybe I would use this green paper as a pocket, but I decided against that because it's just going to be a little too bulky for my journal. The reason I chose the page in my journal that I did is because it's the end page of a signature. So in between the signatures, there's a little gap typically, and that little gap is going to allow me to actually put the entire folio in the journal without bulking it up too much. So that's the reason why I chose this particular page in my journal. If you do plan on making a very large folio or something to put into your journal like this, then either I would say do it on the very last page of a signature or the very first page of a signature. That's probably the best place to do it. So on the remaining page of the folio, I decided to use this new coffee dyed print that I have available in my shop now. And I just really like these patterns, so I decided that I should document this pattern as well, since I've documented the others. So I put that along the center, and it actually just fit perfectly, so it was just meant to be there. I did pull up the edge just a little bit so that I could put this fabric tape down. This is Tim Holtz fabric tape, and I'm using that to adhere the folio to my journal because it's sturdy, and I know it's not going to let my folio rip out of the journal. And no matter how many times I open and close the folio, it'll always be secure in the journal, if that makes sense. So I put a strip of that fabric tape on the outside, and I'm going to put a strip of that fabric tape on the inside where the folio meets the journal page. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach this envelope to the very front of the folio, and I'm just using regular washi tape for that. And I started to put these other washi tapes down on the other side, but then I realized that I wanted to cover up where it says Orkin on the back of that envelope, so I'm going to kind of move these around a little bit. This is another printable. I think I got it from Dust to Roses shop. So I'm just cutting that down, and I'm just going to glue that to the back of the envelope. So I decided that I wanted to put my little cluster on the very front of the folio on top of this envelope. So I'm just working out where I want to put it. I felt like it needed something else. So I started kind of playing around with some of the other things on my desk. I had this little die cut butterfly. I think in hindsight it kind of looks cool, but I don't end up using it there. I had a smaller die cut butterfly, so I decided to instead put it on that page, but I'll end up taking that up later. I've moved things around so many times in this spread, I just couldn't seem to make up my mind. I tried to just commit to things quickly and just go ahead and glue them down, and it was not to my benefit because I ended up having to rip up a lot of things as well. So I don't know what's better, just committing to things and not thinking about it, or committing to things and thinking about it too much and then moving things around and struggling, and I don't know. But it's okay. I have my moments where I can't commit to anything, and then I have my moments where I commit to everything and then I regret it. So I went ahead and put a hole through that fabric tape, through both sides of that fabric tape, and I stuck this string through it so that I can actually tie up my folio inside of my journal. And that's just going to kind of make sure everything is secure, so when I open the book, it's not going to come flying out at me. And I'm just going to put my little cluster on top of that. So I go ahead and glue the little die cut butterfly down, but like I said, I do end up pulling that up later, as well as several other things on this page. So this will look completely different at the end, but that's okay. So then I pulled out this label piece. I'm not sure where it came from, but I pulled that out and I thought it looked perfect under that little doily cluster. Thought maybe this label was a sticker, but apparently it's not, so I just go ahead and glue that down to the front of the envelope, and I go ahead and try to position my cluster where I want it. I just used a stapler to staple down that fabric to the very front of the envelope, and I stapled down that little lace die cut. And then I'm going to use tacky glue to adhere the doily tag to the very front of that cluster. I gave up trying to make that fabric stay where I wanted to. I just put some glue on it. It's no big deal. So to cover up the little bit of writing on the very top of that envelope, I'm just using this grid washi tape. And I'm actually going to put the grid washi all the way around the envelope so it kind of closes up the very top of the envelope. So now I'm actually journaling with all the little bits and pieces that I have. Most of these are from different days, just throughout the past month or so. So like I said, I just had too many pieces, too many small pieces or pictures, and not enough stuff to make an entire spread out of it. But I am grouping them on this folio. So I'm kind of grouping them in a way that makes sense to me. That picture there is from my mom's gourd sale that she had in her front yard, and she invited us to come over and hang out with her. And I bought some of her handmade soap because my mom is crafty like me. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of document that and document which soap was my favorite. And then this is a picture of a dress that I recently got. I went shopping with my grandmother, which was kind of special because I don't actually spend a whole lot of time with my grandmother, and she's getting old, and so I know that she's not going to live forever. So it was kind of a special moment for us because when I was younger, we used to go shopping a lot, obviously. And I've just recently kind of gotten back to my normal weight, kind of. And so I actually felt like shopping this time. So yeah, it was kind of special. And I just fell in love with this dress. I honestly don't go anywhere. I just sit at my house most of the time. So this would be kind of a special occasion dress, but it was fun anyway to try it on and whatever. So, and this is just a little scrap of paper that I had, just kind of went with the flow. I don't know why I put it there. It just kind of happened. So I did end up pulling that butterfly up, like I said, and I decided to stick this rose sticker down for now, but if you can believe it, I'm going to pull that up as well in a little bit. I did put this picture of my daughter in the front of the envelope, not really meaning for it to live there, but I think it looks really good, so I just let it stay. And I'm going to put that little butterfly die cut on this page instead to kind of cover up some of that dead space on the side of the dress. So yeah, I feel like that just kind of makes it complete and fills it all in. And then for the dead space at the bottom of this page, I'm going to put this tag and these two girls. I got these from Kathy from her Etsy shop is Kathy Crafty Pants. And that was just like a little freebie that she sent me when I purchased some of her stuff. And I'll leave the link to her shop in the description box as well because she has some great de-stash stuff that you might be interested in. And this tag actually came from when me and my mom went thrifting. So like I said, all of this stuff kind of goes together. Even though it wasn't on the same day, it's all kind of based around my feelings about being with my family and all of that. So it was just a bunch of days, a bunch of special moments. So I am putting the tag down. I don't think that was anything that I bought. I think that was what my daughter bought. But the red and the tag matched the red in her handmade soap label that says Bombshell. So I just thought that would work out really well there. So yeah, I just stuck all of that down in a little collage at the bottom of that page. And then I decided to put a journaling card over top of the photo on that page, just to give myself a little bit of writing space. So I'm actually going to do a ton of writing in this journal spread. And I just needed a little bit of extra space to do some journaling there. So I moved that handmade soap label over to the side of the photo, and then I put this journaling card over top, and it's just going to flip up and down. So I'm just using a little bit of washi tape on the top and bottom of that journaling card to make that flip out. And then on to the center of the folio, I wanted to do some journaling about my new sewing machine, which you can see there, and also about my new typewriter. So my mom got me a typewriter for a special occasion, and I have been looking around for a typewriter forever, and I found a bunch of them online, but I'm kind of nervous to buy typewriters and things like that online because I'm not sure how they're going to ship it to me. I'm not sure if it works, so I was just a little leery about buying one online. So she found this in a thrift store and bought it for me. And I was super, super excited to use it. I got it a new ribbon and it's beautiful. I cleaned it up. It's like an aqua green. It was some sort of military typewriter. So it's just really nice. It's a really nice piece. And then when we went thrifting that day, I picked up this sewing machine that has the pedal. I think it's from 1881. It's a really old sewing machine. And it's just beautiful. I couldn't leave it behind. I got it for a remarkable deal. So yeah, I couldn't leave it. I had to get it. It's not that I need it. I have a normal sewing machine that I'll do most of my sewing on, but it's really just for the aesthetic. I just think it's beautiful. So I'm setting it up and it's going to be gorgeous once I get it all set up and ready to go. So I'm putting this little piece of ruffle down at the bottom. These are crepe paper ruffles, and I am selling these in my shop as well. I coffee dyed them, so they are kind of reminiscent of like old ruffles on a dress to me. And I just really like the way those look. And then this is my custom wax seal. It says Cover to Cover Creations on the front of it, and I just love it so much. So I put one of my practice run wax seals on top of that ruffle. And then I'm just using a little bit of double-sided tape on this little frame. And I'm going to frame this little flower piece of ephemera. I'm not really sure what it says, but I just think it all kind of looks good together. So I put that inside of the frame, and I'm using that crepe paper ruffle as like a little tuck spot. And then just to finish this page off and make it feel like it's done, I of course needed to put a label up at the top corner. So this is just a label sticker, and I stuck that down, and I think that's all I do to this page. I do end up putting a card on the back of that little frame, and I'm just using a little bit of washi tape on the top, just so that I can do some journaling underneath. And I am going to end up putting a picture of my typewriter in there. I hadn't printed one off yet. This is a coffee dyed label. I sell them in a pack of 30 in my Etsy shop right now, and this is just some of the extras that I had made. So I went ahead and stuck that in the little cluster on the top of the folio, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous there. And then with the picture of the baby, I decided to put that picture on top of some spare tea-dyed paper that I had laying around. And that's going to give me some more journaling space, obviously because I have a ton of things to journal about. And then back to this page that I can't seem to finish. I decided that this purple washi tape does not go with the spread, even though I thought that originally it would because of that doily tag. So I just pulled that off and I'll use it somewhere else. It's actually an Amity Bloom washi tape, and I was super excited when she put those out. I bought several of them immediately. But yeah, I'll save that for later. It's no big deal. So I used my glue stick and put this coffee dyed doily down, and then I put this, I thought it was just like a piece that was cut out. I'm not sure where it came from, but it was actually a sticker, and I didn't realize that until after I started gluing it down. So you'll see me peel the backing off of it in a moment when I realize this. I just thought that rose was really pretty. So, yeah. I kind of gravitate towards these earthy tones anyway, even though that doesn't quite fit with the color scheme I was going with. That's okay. So on to the last page of the folio, I am starting to fill up this book page pocket. I put Lisa's business cards in the very front pocket, and I just tied some ribbon up at the top. And this is actually a thank you card from a different shop, and I put that butterfly die cut on the very front, and I'm just going to repurpose that as a journaling card. So I started playing around with different things that I could put in the pockets. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put there. That is some of my personal stuff that I'm putting in the back. It's actually a letter from my father. So I just put that in the very back, and I'm trying to figure out what else I want to put in the pockets to do some journaling on. I started with these tags, which are printables from Amity Bloom, but I decided to go with her journaling cards instead. And so I chose the one that says she has a love for vintage treasures. And I just felt like that was perfect for kind of the theme of this whole spread. And then this is a little wax seal that I made just randomly. I don't sell them in my shop yet, but it is a transparent wax seal, and I put a flower in it, and I used some gold foil around the edges, and I think that is just beautiful. So I stuck that down at the bottom. I do end up going back into this spread and adding some stickers off camera, but you'll see that at the end. So yeah, that is the finished spread. I hope you enjoyed watching me create this little folio, and I hope you are all doing well. I am trying very hard to get around to making videos. I am like super busy. I've had to employ my 13-year-old daughter to help me because I have so many orders going out that I just can't find time to even breathe right now. Not that I'm complaining, I'm super grateful. But yeah, it just kind of means YouTube has to go on the back burner. But I am working on journals. I started the other day, and I am working on tons of other things for my shop as well. So definitely check out my Etsy shop. The link is in the description box. And yeah, so I hope you guys all have a fantastic summer, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.